some men who would wake up just so they could be the man who wakes up next to you.
Well, I'm sorry to have to break it to you, but those men, they've already woken up and they've left. Because you see, men have now realized there's no real benefit to waking up next to you. We've seen that while you demand things from us, you offer little to nothing in return. At least not anything we can't already get without involving ourselves in a relationship with you. And on top of that, for decades now, y'all told us you didn't want us. Y'all told us you didn't need us. We heard you. And now we're off making a better life for ourselves. One that doesn't involve you. Would we like to have a great relationship? Sure, who wouldn't? But men have finally figured out that the risk simply isn't worth the reward anymore. And now that you guys are figured out that we figured it out, well, now you're wondering, where did all the men go? And then there's this.
Like, where are the men who would walk 500 miles?
And I would walk 500 miles. Now you know why I was never the lead singer in any of the bands I was in. Anyway, last I knew, they were raking in the royalties still from that song they created 30 years ago that I still can't get out of my head.
And then walk another 500 miles for a total of 1,000 just to fall down at your door.
No, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there's no way in hell I'm singing that god-awful song to you. All kidding aside, the point I want to make is that women often want men to meet the expectations of things they hear in songs or see in the movies. As I frequently call it, they're searching for that perfect Disneyland prince, the one that doesn't actually exist, but yet they all think does and that they deserve. Men see it for what it is, an expectation of perfection, something no one can achieve. And knowing that, why would they enter into a relationship with someone who expects that of them? Someone who actually believes a man should walk 500, 1,000, even 1,000,000 miles just to be with them. Men are done playing these silly little games, ladies. Life is not a rom-com or some romantic song. Life is, well, life. And the completely unrealistic expectations that you've all set now, the higher standards, have reached a level of absurdity that men look at it and go, yeah, no more. We're done. Especially when they realize that they're not going to get anything in return, no matter how hard they work to woo you over.
Where are they at?
Well, to wrap this up, where they're at is sitting home or hanging out with their buds, playing video games, playing guitar, enjoying life. No longer having to deal with the drama, no longer having to deal with the financial drain of expensive dates, only to get ghosted shortly thereafter. No longer dealing with the ridiculous expectations, higher standards that you've all set. Ladies, I'm sorry to tell you, but men didn't create this situation. You did. But men have now seen it for what it is, and they're done and walking away. And the really sad part is, they ain't coming back anytime soon.
Guys, welcome back to my channel. Now, we are going to look at why men have stopped marrying American women. It's not only the American women, it's all around the world why men are not marrying women these days. Men are running away from responsibilities. Men don't want to get into a committed relationship. Men don't want to get married to women. Why? Why? What's not happening? Now, to me, how I can address this issue is, these days women have been empowered, whereby women feel they have rights. Women feel they have that power to take control. Women feel they are in charge around the world. It's not only the American women, it's women around the world. They are not getting married. All men are running away from them because these men are fearing these women. These women have got big positions in government. These women are making money. These women are leading companies. These women are traveling from places to places, different countries to different countries. Women are becoming CEOs. Women are becoming vice presidents. Women are becoming presidents. So don't expect that woman to be, to be submissive. Women tend to become more empowered, and women tend to become more, I don't know how I can address this point, but depending on what's happening right now in the world these days, women think they have equal rights than men. Women think they can do some things that men used to do. If you are not a submissive woman, there is no man that is going to marry you. However beautiful you are or rich you are, as long as you are not submissive to the men gender, no man will marry you. So to me, that's why I think men are running away from women these days. It's not only in America; it's everywhere around the world. Let me take you through along these different opinions, and tell me what you think about this trending topic right now. Why men are running away, or why men do not want to get married to African women or to American women. If you're new to this channel, kindly subscribe, like and share. Leave your opinion. I'll be glad to reply you. Let's get into the video and listen to the different opinions.
Video of my brother Darwin McPherson explaining almost perfectly why men are not marrying American women. Man, watch this.
Why are older men refusing to walk down the aisle? Why are women who have it all still alone? It's not an accident, it's not a phase, it's the consequence of rebellion. Today, you're getting a masterclass. By the end of this video, you'll fully understand why men stop marrying American women and why it's too late to fix it for most of them. When women abandon their feminine nature, they also abandon the very thing that made marriage attractive. Femininity isn't weakness. Femininity is the soft power that inspires leadership, protection, and provision from a man. When you remove femininity, you remove the magnetism that pulls a man into commitment. Modern women were taught to act like a man, compete with a man, and fight men. Now they're confused why men no longer want to marry them. You can't lead a woman who sees you as an opponent. You cannot protect a woman who sees you as competition. When a woman's spirit becomes combative, a man's instinct to cover her dies. Men aren't avoiding marriage because they fear commitment. They're avoiding marriage because they refuse to fight their own wives every day inside their own homes. Submission is no longer seen as an act of love. It's seen as a conditional trade deal. If you make six figures, if you buy me bags, if you give me a soft life, then I'll submit. That's not submission, that's extortion. Submission is not earned. Submission is chosen. If a woman waits until she receives everything she wants before respecting a man, she never respected him. She respected the benefits. Men finally figured it out. They finally understood. A woman who needs to be bridled into loyalty will betray you when the gifts stop flowing. You can't have the benefits of marriage without the responsibilities. But that's exactly what modern women are trying to do. They want the ring, the wedding, the Instagram pictures, the honeymoon. But what they don't want is the submission, the service, the sacrifice, the loyalty. You cannot have a strong marriage when one side thinks it's optional to obey God's order. You can't build a home when one partner is committed and the other is entitled. Marriage is not a subscription service. You don't cancel because you're temporarily unhappy. American women destroyed marriage by trying to turn it into a me-first lifestyle. And men? Men left the building the moment they realized marriage no longer made them leaders. It made them sponsors. American culture no longer honors wives. It honors rebellion. Music, media, influencers, all telling women be rebellious, be independent, be boss babes, be sexually liberated. Marriage? That's seen as slavery now. When rebellion becomes a woman's identity, submission becomes her enemy. And no man marries an enemy. You can't build a life with a woman who celebrates betrayal. You can't build a future with a woman who despises order. The women screaming, submission is slavery, are the same women crying at 40 with no husband, no covering, and no legacy. They glorify rebellion. Now they're choking on the loneliness it produced. A man's marriage is the most expensive investment he will ever make. And in America, the return on investment is trash. Divorce rates are high. Alimony is weaponized. Child support is extorted. False accusations are normalized. Marrying the wrong woman isn't just emotional suicide, it's financial suicide. Why would a man risk half his life's work for a woman who doesn't even believe she needs to be a wife? Marriage to a rebellious woman is like building a mansion on quicksand. No matter how much money you pour into it, it's doomed to collapse. Good men finally understood. It's better to die single with peace than to live married and enslaved. Modern women are proudly independent until it's time to pay bills alone, raise kids alone, and die alone. They brag about not needing a man, being strong, doing everything by themselves. But their funerals are filled with regret, not grandchildren. God didn't design women to live and die alone. Independence was never the goal. Legacy was. When you reject covering, you reject family. When you reject family, you reject your own future. Men see the warning signs now. When a woman is addicted to her independence, marriage to her is not a partnership. It's a fight for relevance. And no man fights for relevance in his own home. In today's dating market, too many women aren't looking for husbands. They're looking for saviors. They want men to fix their finances, heal their trauma, raise their children, pay their debts, and still be romantic on top of it. A wife is a blessing. A rescue project is a curse. Men are not emotional rehab centers. Men are not financial bailouts. Men are not child support upgrades. Marriage is supposed to multiply peace, not chaos. Good men aren't rejecting marriage because they're afraid of love. They're rejecting marriage because women stop bringing love to the table and start bringing liabilities. Feminism told women, men are the problem. Marriage is oppression. Independence is power. Now those same women are crying for companionship in their 40s. Meanwhile, the very men they despise have moved on, built wealth, found peace, and reclaimed their power. You can't believe men are trash for 20 years and then beg them for commitment when your cheeks start sagging. You can't mock leadership for 20 years and beg for a covering when loneliness sets in. Feminism sold women a one-way ticket to empowerment. It forgot to mention it was a solo trip. Men stopped marrying because feminism taught women how to be everything. Women prepare for marriage by racking up debt, body counts, and trauma, then looking for a man to clean it up. Marriage is no longer about building a family together. It's about rescuing a woman from the bad decisions she made in her prime. Good men are not retirement plans for reckless women. You can't party for 20 years, sleep with losers, ignore God, then expect a righteous man to marry you and fix your life. You weren't preparing for a husband. You were preparing for a handout. And now that the consequences have arrived, you want the men you rejected to become your saviors. No, ma'am. Good men see through the scam, and they're walking away without remorse. When a woman fears God, she respects order, she respects man, she respects family, she respects herself. When a woman loses the fear of God, all that's left is a heathen disguised as empowerment. She believes submission is optional, marriage is temporary, loyalty is outdated, until life humbles her. God's order does not change just because culture changes. The women who mock marriage are now the loudest ones crying about loneliness. The women who coined toxic masculinity are now desperate for leadership. The women who praise rebellion are now searching for rescue. Men stop marrying because American women stop fearing the one who designed marriage in the first place. Without the fear of God, there is no true wifehood. Without true wifehood, there is no marriage worth saving. And that's why men left the building. But here's my final thoughts. If the soldiers who stormed the beaches of Normandy in 1944, the soldiers who froze to death at Chosin Reservoir in Korea, the soldiers who bled out in the jungles of Vietnam, if they knew that the nation they fought and died for would one day breed a generation of women who smash Jody while their men are deployed, drain their bank accounts while they're in the foxholes, throw divorce papers at them when they come home, weaponize the courts against the very men who fought for their freedoms, they would have never picked up a rifle. They would have never climbed into a Higgins boat. They would have never sacrificed their lives for this kind of betrayal. The cemeteries that hold our heroes are filled with men who fought for something they thought would outlive them. A nation of honor, a people of gratitude, a generation that would respect the sacrifices that gave them the freedom to choose love and family. Instead, the pockets that once held the pictures of loyal wives are empty. Instead of being saluted and honored, the American man is spit on, mocked, drained, and discarded. Instead of being raised to respect their fathers, our sons are raised to resent them. Instead of hoisting flags of gratitude, our women hoist middle fingers. And yet, despite all the betrayal, despite all the emasculation, despite all the theft of what was once sacred, men in America, with all the strength and wrath they possess, do not burn this nation down. We simply walk away. We take our discipline, we take our loyalty, we take our provision, we take our covering, and we offer it to women across the globe who still understand what it means to honor a man. Fellas, you are not bound to this nation. If America has poisoned its women against marriage, then pack your values and find a woman across the seas who still salutes the very masculinity this nation now despises. There are millions of women worldwide signaling for you, waving the flag of respect, saying, "You still have a home here, soldier." To the women listening, if these words pierced you, good. It means there's still something alive inside you. If you allow these truths to break your pride and rebuild your honor, men will notice, men will find you. But you must accept one brutal fact. It's not easy for men to marry you anymore. The system you've benefited from has made you a liability to the men you want. You must move at a man's pace now. You must move in submission now. You must rebuild what rebellion destroyed. And if you can humble yourself to do that, you won't need to beg for love. Love will find you.
Well, okay then. Tell us you only value men for their money without telling us. Remember, gentlemen, this woman is not the exception. She's the rule. And you need to ask yourself, why would you want to date or, God forbid, marry someone who doesn't see you as a person, who doesn't even see you as a human being? Someone who thinks that your thoughts, feelings, wants, and desires are completely irrelevant. Who, to them, your only job, your only reason for existing is to be an income source for them, and nothing more. Gentlemen, you need to keep walking away. You need to see these women, indeed almost all of today's women, for who they are and what they are. Let them go off and be strong and independent all by their lonesome selves. Let them keep making these silly little flex videos as they try to cope with the reality that more and more of us are walking away every single day. And if you haven't walked away already, well, my friend, you should at least consider it. Because while some of us have gotten lucky and found a good woman, far, far more of us have not, and lost everything in the process. Only you can decide if that risk is worth the reward. But at the very least, I hope that you can remember that, as I said in the beginning, that woman isn't the exception. She's the rule. And you want to avoid those types at all costs. Because in the end, it's about your life, your happiness, and your peace. And finding a woman who's good is terrific. But finding one that's bad, well,